What's up, it's Jim from Technovault, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can make professional rumble kicks in FL Studio. I'm only going to use stock plugins except for one plugin that, yes, it's paid, but it has a demo version which is sufficient to make these kicks. It's linked below. I guarantee at the end of the video you'll know how to make these kicks, why you're tweaking certain things, and I'll also reveal some secret sauce that I haven't seen in other rumble kick tutorials yet, so make sure you stick around. The template and the kick I'm making today, as well as some extra stuff I threw in there as well, you can download 100% for free. Let's get right into it. We're in 150 BPM, and the first thing you'll need is a good punch. I included a bunch of punches in the free download below that you can use that I selected to really translate well into rumble kicks. Now, you can use any club or EDM punchy kick that works well, but make sure you're cycling through them to find like the best one. Make sure you cut off anything that's over half a beat. Let's loop this. Now, let's start working organized. Punch, duplicate this into mixer 2, which will be our rumble channel, and then route mixer 2 into 3 and mixer 1, remove it from the master and add it into mixer 3 too. So what we did here is we have a punch channel. We have that punch duplicated into 2, which we're going to turn into our completely wet rumble, and then both of those go into a final kick bus where we'll add some final processing. If you add colors, it helps a lot to work organized, and it just makes it so much easier for you. Remove punch from the main channel so we can only hear the rumble now. And let's start adding effects to 2. First, we're going to add Fruity Reverb 2, which is going to be our reverb. And we remove the dry sound, which was the punch. So we only have wet, and turn that to 100%. You really don't have to tweak much except open the size all the way and add a little bit of decay. We can then use a parametric EQ and take 7, type low pass, so we roll off the highs, and order steep 8. Just select anything until bass. Now we want to make sure that there's no stereo information in the low frequencies. We're going to use Maximus for this. Make sure you put it on the default setting and put it on compressor off in master, and in each band do that as well. This will ensure that Maximus isn't doing anything. Now you can click on bands and change the crossover frequency between the lows and the mids. In the low band, you can move this to the right, which will merge all the stereo separation. So everything in the stereo is going to be put into mono in the low band. As you can hear, completely stereo, completely mono. So put this at around 150-ish. But just make sure the sub doesn't have stereo information. Now it's time to add distortion to really make the rumble come to life and add power. A wave shaper, opening that up is fine. Don't worry about the crunchy, distorted sound because we're adding one more EQ and we roll off all the highs with a low pass, steep 8. As you can hear, it's still a little bit clippy because it's going over 0 dB, so take that down a bit. Now let's re-enable the punch into the main channel. And it sounds like a rumble kick, but we need to control the blend or the volume of the rumble. So add a limiter at the end, put the ceiling up so you do not limit it at all, and automate the gain. Create a blend where it doesn't really do much in the punch, but then it opens up nicely and blends a little bit with the kick like this. We're going to improve this now. In the main kick bus, we can add a ceiling. We got to make sure it's clipping against 0 dB. But a great setting is putting it on half sign here, if you click on the point, and opening that up. And listen how that deals with the crunchy kind of distorted sound of the kick. You have that right? And this is basically based on the Oxford Inflator plugin, where you can add loudness with this, and it's very similar to a half sign in a wave shaper. Once you have this, let's do a little bit of tone control in the kick, which you can do with an EQ and a soft clipper. This is going to allow us to change the tone, then soft clip it, and then get it into our final half sign wave shaper. This is also the stage where you have to understand how the sub and clipping kind of work together. If you add a lot of bass in front of a soft clipper, it gets very distorted and crunchy. If you take it down, it lets the mids breathe a little bit more. This will really depend on your punch and rumble and how those are mixed together. Because if it's too subby, you have to take it down a bit, but you do not want to lose all your low end. So it's something you gotta get really good at, you know? Now you can control the blend here too. You could take down the rumble a bit. And then you can potentially add a little bit more bass. But then obviously your punch gets more bass. So if you understand sort of the blend between these two and then how the sub moves into the soft clipper and how that lets the mids breathe, it's going to really upgrade your kick game, sort of. Big part about making kicks is understanding the relation between the sub and the mid frequencies. Also in combination with distortion. So depending on how raw you want to go, this type of shaping can also influence your kick. You could add more distortion at this point. Kind of roll off the lows here. And kind of go a little bit more raw, hard techno with these rumble kicks. But I'm going to show you how you do them clean instead. Take off the effects. Usually there's a lot of muddy information in the low, mids, high bass. So you can take that down a little bit if you like. You can also increase the clarity of your kick or remove that a little bit. Now, we're almost there, but one thing I want to enhance is the sort of mid rumble. And instead of just taking our rumble and opening that up more, let's keep this as the low rumble, right click, file, and drag that over to 4. And this is going to be our high rumble. So all we have to do now is assign 4 to 3. Assign the punch going into 4. So we have the punch duplicated for our high rumble channel. Then roll off the lows with a high pass, order 8, and open the mids a bit more. And suddenly we have this sound. But we need to still automate the level. So we click on the limiter in 4 and then just automate the gain and boom. We have a crunchy mid layer that I really like to kind of enhance the whole kick. Now, you might think you're already here, but it's really important to look at the phasing of the kick. And that's basically the secret sauce that I mentioned in the beginning. Here's what you got to do. There's this plugin called Psyscope, which is an oscilloscope that is also beat matched. So if I play a kick and loop it, it's going to consistently show me the phasing of the kick. This is a paid plugin and I highly encourage you to support the creator because it's a really good plugin and it will help you a lot if you want to get really good at kick production for the harder styles or for techno. But the free version allows you to use it for 10 minutes and then you would have to restart your DAW to use it again, which is sufficient. When I open this, you can suddenly see that we have a little bit of phasing issues here. Also notice one more thing, and that is that when we keep repeating the kick, basically the reverb gets re-enabled, right? And it gets put over the old version of the first kick and etc. and etc. So when you do that, you can see how the phasing and the waveform stabilizes itself. So just notice that that happens, okay? Because the first beat of your kick is not going to be the same as the second one. And after a while, it has normalized and stabilized sort of. So keep playing it a bit and then tweak your settings. If you take two sine waves and they're both at the same phase position, the positive sides and the negative sides of these waveforms are going to boost each other. So this creates a very big volume boost. But when you move the phase point and it's basically inverse or perfectly out of phase with the other waveform, high point is going to cancel out with the low point, right? Boom, you don't hear anything anymore. And this is sort of the cleanest example of phase interference, where multiple waveforms are phase interfering and causing phase cancellations or phase boosts. And when you're making a rumble kick and you're reverbing low frequencies or a kick, reverb is basically a bunch of reflections in the room. When I talk in this room, my voice gets bounced around everywhere. It goes into that corner and then it goes there and that reflects back there. And this sound is going to just play with each other. It's going to phase interfere. And that's what we can see going on in the oscilloscope. This is the effect of the reverb and the phase interference, and different settings will give you different rumbles. So what is the lesson from this? We want to make sure that we first fix the setting of our reverb so we have a better waveform where there's not as many cancellations like here. So how we can do that first of all is changing the blend of this one with the rumble. Let's see what happens. We can detach our oscilloscope. As you can see, fading that out a bit faster changes the phasing. But then we can go into our reverb, which is the rumble channel right here. Go into the reverb and maybe play around with the size of the room. As I said, you need to play the kick for a little while to make sure that you can see how it stabilizes. But as you also can see, this setting of the room really doesn't work well because look at the phase interference here. Look at the cancellations. This is a bit better, but now we have issues here. So play around with this until you find something passable like this. And then what we want to do is take these very low volume points and take them and distort them a bit more. So we can add another wave shaper in the rumble and we can kind of add more drive without making the kick too distorted, but we do fix these low decibel points. We can add a bit more volume, but you want to do this without completely clipping it. And then what you can do is use high-pass filters for deliberate phase shifts. If you take an EQ, left-click high-pass and order 8, and you start at 20 Hertz, and you add that right here after Maximus, look what happens with the wave. I'm first going to play the kick so it stabilizes, and then we move it around. You can do this in such a way where you fix the most phasing issues as you can. This is not gonna really ruin the kick. It's not gonna remove all the low frequencies because still at the end, when you look at your EQ, you can see we still have low frequency information. But what we did do is fix the phasing issues way better. And those fixes, let me summarize them one more time. Here's what we did. First, with Maximus, we made sure that the low frequencies are in mono. Secondarily, we took our punch and the blend of the rumble to make sure that the phasing is perfect. There's not as many phase interferences. Secondarily, we looked at the psi scope while changing the blend between the punch and crunch. This made sure that we don't have many phase interferences here. Then we went into the rumble channel and we played around with the settings of the reverb. We tried to find the setting that has the most perfect phase interference, where it kind of just made sure there aren't as many cancellations. Then, whatever low points we had, we just added more drive with a wave shaper, which minimizes the issues of the cancellations. Finally, we use the natural characteristics of a high-pass filter, which causes phase shifts, and we kind of just pushed the rumble into the phase position that we want. So those four things together allow you to make rumble kicks that translate well into big systems and will not really experience phasing issues. And it's really, really important. It makes a huge difference for these kicks. And the way we set this up with a low and high rumble allows us also to not make a very distorted kick. It allows us to create a powerful rumble kick without kind of having this extremely clipped sound. And if you start routing your kick setups like this, it's going to make a really big difference. So once again, don't forget to download this template and a bunch of other stuff I included as well for free. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.